you're defeated. You feel like, man, like you start having the thoughts, am I going to die this year? Am I, do I got cancer everywhere? Because your body just aches. You're getting new pains every other day somewhere. And you're starting to like get these thoughts in your head, and it's depressing you. And you're feeling like, oh my gosh, dude, what am I going to do? How am I going to take care of my family? If you're to that point, I highly suggest starting carnivore immediately.
Andrew, how did you find Carnivore?
Well, my I was 42 when I first started this. Um my body was just starting to, like, I was 335 pounds. I was getting pretty heavy. I'm 6'2". I'm a mechanic, so I'm basically, climbing under cars and all kinds of stuff like that. So I just noticed my body was like seriously deteriorating. Like, there's no reason a 42-year-old man should feel that way. Achy joints, just all kinds of different, just problems and stuff that I didn't even know I had until I started carnivore. Well, one day I'm sitting there. Well, actually, I prayed. I was just praying. I was like, oh man, you've really got to help me find a way to get my body back to where I can function to do this for another 25 years. And um, that very next day, I never get on Facebook anymore. Like, I never do. I'm too busy with, my YouTube channel, all of that stuff. So I get on, and the very first post is my brother. And he's like, man, I've been on the carnivore diet for X amount of days. I've lost like 38 pounds. If you're wanting to lose weight, look up Dr. Ken Berry, blah, blah, blah. And so I looked it up, but before I even looked anything up, I was like, he's right. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. Cause I'd heard of carnivore before. I've heard about the, like losing weight and, like keto and all of that stuff. Tried keto before, lost a few pounds. So I was like, all right. So I went over to Costco. I got those, it's like stewing beef. You can get like 5 pounds of this for like $25. So I just bought a whole bunch and I cooked it all up, and I was like, this is all I'm eating. I got Ziploc bags. I evened it out for like 5 bags. And then I took that and I started taking that to work with me for lunch instead of eating like $13 of food off the gut truck food every day. And that first week, I'm not even gonna lie. That first week was extremely rough. I started on a Wednesday. I made it to Sunday, and I was like, babe, I gotta have a pizza. I have to. Let's go to Costco and get a pizza. So we went to Costco and got a pizza. Normally, I'd be able to eat like 4, 5, 6 slices of that. I could barely get down 2 before I just started feeling sick. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, I wasn't going to give up on the whole carnivore thing at that point. I was like, no, I'm going to keep going. And so I just started doing the steak chunks and all of that. And this is before I even realized that I needed more, like a higher fat intake. So I was just eating the red meat. I was just eating the steak. I was eating eggs, bacon, stuff like that at first. And that went on for like my first month. My first month was, fairly rocky. First couple of weeks, still feeling like, oh man, I just need some sleep. I'd still come home just like before from work. I would have no energy. But then around day 19 is when I started noticing, like, whoa, my joints don't hurt. I feel lighter on my feet. I can do my job easier. I'm not as winded anymore. I'm already down like 15 pounds or something at that point, or 20 something pounds at that point. And I'm like, gosh dang, man, this is really working. And then every day, almost every day after that, like the effects just started feeling more like, whoa, man, this is really getting good. Like, I'm feeling like I'm 20 years younger. I can move around. I don't feel, I'm not waking up with headaches anymore. It's not taking me a super long time to go to the bathroom anymore. Like, IBS was gone, joint pain was gone, lower back pain started disappearing. My shoulder, my rotator cuff that I thought I'd messed up like 10 years ago, I have no pain at all in my shoulder now. It only took 51 days to get back to the gym and start working out. Like, I'm going to the gym like really regularly now. 51 days after not going for 10 years. And before that, I was training to be a cop. So I was doing a lot of workout, a lot of workout and stuff. And yeah, man, it's crazy how as a man, you get to like 32, 33, 34, and all of a sudden it just kind of feels like you start going backwards. I was just starting to put on pounds. I was putting on 20 pounds a year. The carnivore diet has been, I don't even call it a diet anymore. I call it like a lifestyle change. I call it, and in my head, I have to think about it this way because eating has become such a social norm that we use it for comfort, we use it for gatherings, we use it for every purpose on the planet aside from what it should be used for is simply to fill your body. Just like with cars, you put in good fuel, you get good gas mileage, you get your car runs, it feels good. You put in good oil, you take care of it, you maintain it, and your car will run for a long time. Same with the human body. I've noticed, and you will notice that there is a social stigma when it comes with telling people, "Yeah, man, I just eat meat. I don't eat anything else." They're like, "What?" And they look at you kind of weird, and you're like, dude, I feel incredible, man. I eat maybe once, twice a day. I've got more energy than you. I can go to the gym and I can work out. When I put on muscle, it's nice, lean muscle. And I don't have to work out for 4 hours. I can work out real hard for 30 minutes. And like the effects are so intense. It's incredible. You have to look at carnivore. If you're to the point where I am, where I was at 42 years old, where you're pretty much already gone, like you're defeated, you feel like, man, like you start having the thoughts, am I going to die this year? Am I, do I got cancer everywhere? Because your body just aches, you're getting new pains every other day somewhere. And you're starting to like get these thoughts in your head and it's depressing you. And you're feeling like, oh my gosh, dude, what am I going to do? How am I going to take care of my family? If you're to that point, I highly suggest starting carnivore immediately, because once all that goes away and you regain your brain function and you start to feel happy again and you feel more energetic and outgoing, it's crazy the 180 that you will make just by having that function back. Yeah, losing weight is one thing. I mean, I'm down what, 53 pounds this morning from 335. Losing weight is one thing, but having the energy to keep going and keep moving and keep doing things, that is a completely different story. That doesn't matter if your weight loss slows down, because it has. I lost up to like 40 pounds like really quick. Obviously your water weight comes off pretty quick. You start moving and stuff, but then like getting rid of that actual fat is going to take a little bit of time. It took you a long time to put it on. It's going to take a while, unless you go extreme like lion diet or whatever. Then you could probably get rid of it faster. But you know, it's it's one of those things where, like, my gosh, man, the benefits and the effects of what the carnivore diet's done for me is incredible. Like I'd walk upstairs or do something like that, and my chest would just start. I would get short of breath. I'd start having breathing issues. My heart would start beating really fast. The last time I went to the gym the other day, and I just beat it up real hard, and I noticed that my heart rate was like nice and stable, and I'm like, wow, man, imagine going from like feeling like you're gonna pass out when you bend over to like being able to just go and like work out and get like an incredible workout and feel good, come home. I will say one thing though, the recovery time is starting to get to about 5 days for recovering after working out. At first it was pretty quick, but now I'm doing like really intense workouts and it takes about 5 days. I usually go the whole 5 days before I go back, just to get, the muscle pain to stop. And that's kind of weird. It never used to be like that. It was usually like three days at the most. So I'm wondering like what's going on there. But other than that, it's been an interesting journey. It really has.
Well, congratulations. And sorry, so it's day 110.
Day 110. Yes.
Awesome.
110.
Very nice. So, at this stage, are you kind of feeling like this is it? I'm
Yeah.
doing this forever.
I know that eventually, because my wife started doing it too. Well, she's doing a carnivore on her terms, and she's seeing amazing results as well. She's feeling really good, but she'll still have the salad. She'll still have, every once in a while she'll go have like like some candy or something like that, or some bread. And so I don't necessarily think that I'll be like 100% carnivore forever. I mean, I might have a salad someday, but as in terms of like eating just meat and being that like my main fuel source, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely have no desire to eat sugar, garbage, or any of that kind of stuff. But I mean, like on a birthday or like at a party or something, I might have like a little bit, like a little piece of cake, couple bites, something like that. I don't like the way it makes me feel after I eat it. Like if I for Christmas I had a couple pieces of chocolate, and I don't necessarily like the way it makes me feel within the first couple of hours after eating it, but usually I do incorporate some intermittent fasting as well. So my advice is if you get on carnivore and it gets hard and you have to have something, because when I'm when I'm out, when I'm not at a store, I don't ever think about that garbage ever. But when we're walking around shopping and stuff, and you're seeing bread and you're seeing the pastries and everything right in front where it always is, yeah, you get tempted. You're gonna get tempted every single time, and you're gonna all it takes is one cave in, So if you do cave in, because she's doing this, and this is why I think it's working for her, carnivore on her terms, is she'll stick to an eating window, about 4, maybe 5, 6 hours a day that she'll have for an eating window. And if she eats something like that, it takes like 24 hours for that stuff to kind of get out of your body. And that's what Dr. Anthony Chafee was saying, is like it takes 24 hours. So I told her about that, and yeah, she's not really having any other results as long as she's staying in that eating window. And about 90% of her intake is carnivore. So I mean, she still will do the salads and stuff like that, but it helps more if you use the intermittent fasting as well. I personally don't have no desire to go out of my way to eat that garbage. It just, I don't like the way it makes me feel anymore. I feel really really good. I'm actually leaning more toward staying with just beef. Pork is useless. Chicken is useless. Yeah, I mean, I feel way better on beef. Um, Bacon, I love bacon. I mean, the taste of bacon's good, and you can eat just a couple of slices, a couple pieces in the morning, and usually go all day. You get to a point on carnivore where you don't even need as much food to like make it through the day. You really just don't. Your body doesn't need all the stuff we think all the snacks and everything, and it's crazy.
So on that point, so your body not needing the snacks and stuff, and I 100% agree. Um, at what point in this journey did you get to where you suddenly went, okay, well, I don't need it anymore? Like that your body didn't feel like you needed it anymore.
I think I was still kind of in my first month when I noticed that, like, wow, I don't need this much food. Because like I was telling you earlier, I'd get that 5 pounds of that beef chunks, and I'd split it into 5 days. By the end of 30 days, I was throwing most of it away. I wasn't eating all of it. I was eating like 5, 6, 7 pieces at work, and I was like, gosh dang, man, I'm not even hungry. I'm full, and I'm not gonna heat it up and reheat it and then put it back in the fridge. So I was ending up throwing more away. And then I would get home and I would be like, gosh dang, man, I'm not even hungry. So I'd be forcing myself at the end, like close to the end of the 30 days, I'd be forcing myself to eat that freaking ribeye with those eggs and all of that stuff, because I was like worried that I wasn't going to have the energy in the morning. But now, so is what I've got worked out right now is ribeyes are kind of expensive. I mean, obviously I still eat them once in a while, but I'll go to Costco and I'll just buy the chuck roast. I slice them into steaks myself so I can get the desired thickness or whatever. Chuck steaks have a pretty decent amount of fat on them. And so is what I'll do is right when I get off work, I'll just throw one on my new Ninja Sizzle grill. That thing is awesome. If you very awesome. So I'll throw that on there. I'll cook that. I'll eat that. And then I don't eat nothing else for the rest of the night. And then when I wake up, I've got plenty of energy. I can eat like 4 or 5 strips of bacon at work, and I'm good. I mean, just on those two, every once in a while, like this morning, I tried to put some eggs in, tried to do some of the other, like the Kerrygold butter, stuff like that. I try to get some of that fat in there, but for the most part during the work week, I'm just that one steak and a few slices of bacon, and I don't need to snack. It does nothing. I mean,
Hmm.
every once in a while.
Nice. So you mentioned before you're a mechanic.
Yeah.
Um, so I come from a family of mechanics too. My brother's a mechanic. My dad was a mechanic. Um,
Nice.
I think mechanics are a good parallel, a good kind of analogy for this kind of thing. So you
Absolutely.
think of a mechanic as a doctor, right?
Basically,
Because
yeah.
basically, cars coming in, you're diagnosing what the problem is and fixing it, right? So
Hmm.
if someone brought, let's say in the situation with diabetes, right? Someone goes to the doctor, they've got diabetes. The doctor says to them, "Oh, no problem. Here's your insulin and stuff. This is how you use the insulin. You know, every time you eat, you just shoot yourself with this. You know,
Yeah.
and blah blah blah." Someone came to you and said, "Well, look, I've been pouring sand into my petrol tank, and the car's not working anymore. What would you do?" You wouldn't say, "Well, all you need to do is use this little contraption to clean
Yeah.
the sand out every
It's
time you
like
put it in."
you'd be like, yeah, use some sea foam and then keep putting more sand in there. It'll be
Y-
perfect.
Yeah, you'd say, "Stop putting the sand in the thing,"
Exactly.
right?
My
And
dad. Oh yeah. So my dad actually right now just had half of his foot amputated. His A1C is like over 10. We lost my mom in 2020, and he's just pretty much given up his will to live. He got an infection in his foot, and he just let it go, and they just amputated like half of his foot, and they're still trying to decide if they're going to take more out. And I'm like, gosh dang, man. And I look at like my family's eating habits. My mom and dad had 12 kids, so I'm 11 out of 12. All the ones above me are already having kidney failure. They're all having like diabetes and issues like that. And my one brother that told me about that, he's starting to come back down. He's starting to heal himself and all of that stuff. He's about, I think there's almost a 10-year gap between me and him. But like all the rest of them, it's insane. And they refuse to try this carnivore diet. They're just like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm addicted to my sugar or whatever. And I'm like, my gosh, man, you guys are slowly dying and you're miserable and you can't move and you can't do anything. And then, yeah, if I feel like the way I do right now when I'm 60 by staying on the carnivore diet, yeah, that's incredible. You know what I mean? I don't want to be old, but yeah, that sucks that, oh no, I just broke my cup. But it just sucks that like the the diabetes, because my mom has diabetes, and it's crazy. Well, before she passed away, it's crazy the stuff that they'll tell them to eat and stuff. And then when you look at like what the carnivore diet can do, like it can pretty much get rid of a lot of that. That's insane, man. Like these doctors, I don't know. There's something going on with the drug industry that makes these guys keep recommending that stuff. But I mean, you're not making money. I'm As a mechanic, you're not making money if the cars aren't broken. So, but you don't want to tell people like, yeah, go put sand in your freaking in your gas tank so that you can go put some sand in your gas tank so that I can see you sooner. You know what I mean? But for some reason, doctors can do that stuff. You know, that's crazy.
so let me ask you about meds. Before you started carnivore, were you on any meds for any kind of conditions, and have you been able to get off those if you were?
No, because I'm just like my dad. I don't go to the doctors for nothing. So I was just like, oh man, I'm dying. I'm doomed. So yeah, I didn't go and get on any medications or anything like that. I still kind of felt like, no, there's no way I should be feeling this. There's no way I should be feeling like this. But it was getting pretty close to where I would have probably ended up having to go to the doctor pretty soon. To be completely honest with you, it was getting to the point where I probably would have ended up going in there and it would have told me I was diabetic and started pumping me full of all that stuff anyway. So yeah, I'm kind of glad that, I don't know, it was kind of like a miracle that I was able to find it before having to deal with all that.
Mm.
That's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah. So, you mentioned how your family have kind of you talk to your family and some of them have been unwilling to change, but like how have people around you outside of family reacted, like people at work and friends?
I've got, well, because I mean, I have a YouTube channel myself. I do video games and stuff, and I put a couple carnivore videos on there. Some of my community has started doing it. They're starting to see results. My wife obviously doing it. She's seeing results. The kids are unwilling to even try it, but we just buy a lot of meat and they have to eat it. We don't buy any of the junk anymore. We've completely quit doing like soda and candy and all that stuff. So they're kind of ketovore ish. They still eat like pizza and stuff, but some of my friends at work definitely got a few of them, doing it again and stuff. So yeah, I mean, some people are pretty receptive to it, or they'll start asking a lot of questions, and then you just try to give them the best information you can. The one thing that I try to stress to them the most is like that first couple of weeks is going to be rough. It's going to be very rough, but the payout is so much better because you're going to save a ton of money because you're not buying the junk. You don't need to snack every 2 hours, so you're not buying a whole bunch of snacks. And your energy levels just it feels like cleaner energy. It's almost like it's almost like a consistent energy. Like when I before I started, I would have to be in bed at 10 o'clock. If I didn't go to bed at 10 o'clock, I could not wake up at 5:45, and I would wake up and I'd sit on the edge of the bed and I'd sit there and just rock myself, trying to get the blood moving, just so I could get up, and I would sit there for like 15 minutes, just trying to like let my body start moving. Now, if I go to bed at 10 o'clock, I wake up exactly at 3 o'clock every morning. So I have to go to bed at midnight so I can wake up at 5 o'clock, because I mean, like that 45 minutes is whatever, I'm like, okay, so if I go to bed at midnight, then I can wake up at 5, and then I can get up, and I get up and I have energy. I don't sit there and lay on the bed and hit the snooze button. I'm up. I'm instantly up. I wake up. I set my alarm clock for 5:45. I'm up at 5 every morning without my alarm clock. When my alarm goes off, then it's like, okay, now you can start, doing whatever to get ready to leave for work. I'm to work earlier every day, and I have more energy. It's it's incredible too. Like the sleep that you get on carnivore is better than I've ever had in my life. And I know that like I know that we hear that a lot on the carnivore channels and stuff. And I wanna like break that down for people just a little bit, because yes, your sleep improves dramatically. Um, I used to have like these really vivid dreams, and those are usually tied to you're not completely in full deep sleep if you have the full vivid dreams. Well, I don't dream like that anymore. And usually with those vivid dreams, you'd wake up with like headaches and stuff like that. Well, those vivid dreams are down tremendously. Yeah, I mean, like every once in a while I'll still have one, but those are so few and far between now that like it's just it really, the sleep that you get on the carnivore diet is better, and the energy levels that you have during the day and throughout the day is better. Like it does feel better. It feels clean, but after 110 days, I kind of feel like I've hit a new normal. You know what I mean? Like I feel I've hit a new normal, and I like that. I like the new normal of how my body feels. I'm starting to feel like, okay, yeah, this is good. I get up, I go to work. Before, I'd come home from work and I'd have to take a 2 hour nap before I could start making content. Now I can go to work, come home, start making content, stay up till midnight, wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, do it all over again. I don't need the naps anymore. Saturdays I'd come home, or Saturdays I wake up and then I would just sleep until noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, wake up feeling groggy with a headache. I don't feel like that anymore. It just feels like this new normal is better. It just feels better. You feel more optimistic. You feel more outgoing. You feel more like you definitely feel younger for sure. And you start to look younger too. I don't know. It's incredible the way you feel.
Hmm. So speaking of optimism, what are your goals going forward
Um,
as far as with carnivore, weight, muscle, that kind of thing?
so I want to get back down to 215, 220. I want to work on my physical appearance again. Get back to like get back into shape at least. I don't expect to be back into shape to where I was when I was like 25, because that was a lot of hard work. But I want to just look nice again. I want to be able to continue eating the carnivore diet, find ways to really maximize that. You know, after as time goes on, I want to be able to get more. I want to be able to eat food that's going to be more beneficial for my body. Like right now, I'm just kind of like getting through the motions. I feel like I'm just getting through the motions of, you know, just learning how to do that. I want to buy a meat slicer. I want to start slicing my own meat, stuff like that. And not necessarily control portion sizes, but you know, eat what I want to eat and you know, still be able to benefit from that. I do see myself doing this long term. I don't really, you know, after hearing about all the oxalates and all of that stuff building up from like vegetables and stuff, I just hope some more really good solid science starts to come out so that we know, like, yeah, eating meat is good for you. You know, eating plants are clearly toxic. I mean, there's toxins in them and stuff like that. So you never know if so you don't know. You just got there's too much money in the food industry that is that it's dirty money, man. Like they tell you, oh yeah, this is good for you, but then you eat it and you get sick. And it's not just like it's not like, oh, you're sick, you're gonna go throw up or something like that. No, it's sick. Your body, your whole body starts to fall apart and it just hurts. And the way you feel from eating that stuff, because that's the only thing I've changed. I've taken all that out and I feel incredible. So I mean, like it's got to be that stuff that's making you feel that way. Like I said, like after starting and eating that pizza, I was like, oh my gosh, it just you could. It's almost like you could taste the chemicals that are in that kind of food. Like you could taste it, and it's like, oh gosh. On Christmas, I had some of that dark chocolate. There's like these little peppermint candies. They're like dark chocolate and peppermint. I had a couple pieces of that, and I I didn't really that didn't really like screw me up too much. I mean, but it just didn't taste like you would think that something like that would taste. You know what I mean? It was kind of more like a dull taste to it because you're just your body's not used to it anymore. And I think that for some reason, like I feel like these companies are adding way more sugar and all kinds of stuff to just try to because like your taste buds are dead. They're absolutely they're dead. Like eating all that sugar, they're dead. So they have to just keep adding more and more and more and more to it. And I was like, gosh dang, I even had COVID since I got carnivore, and getting through that was way better, way easier than the other two times I had it. Like this one here was just like, oh man, I didn't get the headaches and everything this time either. I was like, wow, this is pretty good. I mean, it did
Mm.
last a while, but I still had like the runny nose and the burning in my nose and stuff like that. But the energy level thing still had the energy. Didn't feel bad at all. Just you know, just had that burning and like you know that one. There was that one day it just kind of felt like a little bad, but still didn't have to sleep all day. I was able to just sit here off work and play video games. So
Yeah.
I wasn't
So I mean, that was it just like, you know, if you had like a regular cold or flu, you can kind of still soldier on?
pretty much, yeah. It felt like normal. Like when I would normally get like the flu or something, I'd just be able to make it through it. And this, yeah, that's pretty much what it felt like. It wasn't. I mean, you could tell. I could tell that if I wasn't on the carnivore, that it would have hit me pretty hard. You know, because like obviously, you know, just sitting here, I could feel like you know like the sickness or whatever. But I had the energy to like push through it. Whereas before, I probably would have went and laid down and slept all day. So yeah, I mean, it was like yeah, it would have taken me out had I not been on carnivore, I believe. I mean, I know I attribute a lot to carnivore, but like what I didn't change anything else in my life. You know what I mean? I just quit eating the garbage and I started eating, you know, better cuts of meat, better, you know, better food, and I feel incredible. Like there's no other. I'm not taking any medication. I'm not drinking energy drinks all day. And that was a big thing. You know, I was drinking like the Red Bulls and all of that stuff trying to get energy. Like I'm not drinking that garbage. I drink a black coffee and I feel fine. Or Celsius. Have you heard of those Celsius drinks?
No, never. What are those?
They're like a carbonated water or whatever. Carbonated water with like some little bit of like taste in them and stuff. They taste like they would be really sugary, but they're like what 5 calories or something. So every once in a while, I'll have one of those, and That's probably like the only cheating I do on it. It's just stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy that you don't
Awesome.
need. Yeah, it's crazy you don't need that stuff.
I find that what happens, certainly with myself and with the people I've spoken to, is that energy and that renewed feeling of wellness takes ends up taking much more priority for people over the weight loss. The weight loss ends
Hmm.
up becoming, maybe you start for the weight loss and trying to get a bit healthier, but that ends up taking a back seat, or is just the icing on the cake to the feeling of overall more energy and wellness.
Hmm.
How do you feel about that?
Exactly. I mean, I knew immediately once my shoulder stopped hurting and my lower back pain and my joints stopped hurting. I knew immediately I don't really care if I lose the weight because it's not the weight that's making me feel terrible. It was all of that. The weight will come off with the energy, with the way you feel. Like it will come off. And like I said, I call it TTG, time to gym, like my 51 days or whatever. I call it that because you will notice as a man that your testosterone will come back very rapidly, and you'll have energy. And you'll be sitting there and you'll just be like, oh my gosh, man, I just have this energy. I want to go do something. You'll feel like you're HDD all of a sudden. And so I just get up and I go to the gym and I work out and I come home and I'm like, wow, this just feels incredible. It really does get to a point on carnivore diet where you'll completely stop caring about the weight loss and you will transition over into like, wow, this feels incredible. And then you're going to find every way it'll almost become like a drug just to keep feeling good. And it is crazy. Like the thought of eating any of that other garbage and like being sick just is like, no, I don't want to go back to the way I was before. I don't want that. I don't care how good that tastes or how people are looking at me or something like, well, you're not going to eat cake. I'm like, no, I'm not going to eat cake. Oh, I don't want no cake. It's crazy.
Yeah. So whereabouts are you in the States?
I am in Utah. It's getting
Utah.
pretty cold right now.
Yeah. And in Utah, how is the kind of the atmosphere around meat eating?
Yeah. Pretty good actually.
Hmm.
Pretty good. Like because we got the Mormons here, and they are 100% supportive of eating meat, and they pretty much run the whole state. We've got a lot of farms. We got a lot of dairy farms. We have a lot of what are they called, like meat plants. We got like a cheese factory down here, all kinds of stuff like that. So I mean, in terms of like the crazies in California and stuff, yeah, I don't have to worry about that. Like this is a pretty heavily Republican state, so I mean, it's it's one of those things where like, yeah, I don't think we'll have to worry about it too much here just yet. But I see the nonsense out there, about people like trying to get rid of the meat industry and the cow farts and all of that. It's ridiculous. I mean, if these people could actually feel the way I felt before and the way I feel right now, you'd never hear them complaining about a plant again, bro. You would never hear it. They would be like, oh my gosh, man, that's true. I would say if you're on a plant based diet, like I don't care if you eat plants, like whatever. I'm not like those dudes that are like trying to get rid of the whole plant industry because I'm a carnivore now. But I would say that you would probably eat more physical weight in plants than you would in meat to try to gain the same level of sustenance every day. I guarantee you could eat a bag of carrots to my, like 8-ounce steak. I could eat an 8-ounce steak and you could eat a bag of carrots and you'd be eating before me. You know what I mean? It's incredible just how nutrient rich that meat is, and just how well it satiates your body to where you feel good. Because once you're in the fat burning mode, I mean, if you got fat on your body, obviously your body's just gonna, pull from that, and it's gonna get rid of the hunger pains. You're not gonna feel any of that stuff. But if you're eating carbs like plants and stuff like that, you're still gonna get those hunger pains. You're still gonna feel hungry. And
Yeah.
that's the whole point of eating meat, is to not feel hungry so that you don't eat a lot.
That's right. And the thing is, we all 100% of us have experience eating mainly carbs because that's how we're raised, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
know that the hunger goes like this. the
Yep.
whole day along with our blood sugar. Whereas when we're eating meat,
Exactly.
it's just
Like
nice, just flat.
you have to remind yourself to eat. Like I'm kind of in a position to where I've even got like the little gut truck guy. He just brings me 5 strips of bacon every morning, you know, for like $4 or whatever. Um, I'll eat that at breakfast if I'm hungry. If I need it, I'll just eat it, and that usually gets me well through until the end of the day, till I need to eat my steak around 4 o'clock, and then yeah, you just don't need as much food. You have energy. You don't feel hungry. You're not sitting there like you don't ever feel hungry after you get to that point where you've kicked over and you've become a carnivore. Like you don't get hungry anymore. Like our bodies are designed to go a while before we absolutely have to eat. And the more fat you got on you, the better off you're going to be. You know, I think, anyways. I could probably fast for a couple of days. I'm actually thinking about trying that, fast for a couple of days to see if to see how high I can get that hunger pain, to see if I can even get it to come back. That's crazy. I haven't
Yeah.
felt hunger pain in over 100 days, and
Nice.
it's crazy.
So you mentioned you've got a channel. Can you talk a little bit about your channel?
Frogboy X1 Gaming, got about 7,200 subscribers. I do gaming content. I've been doing it since 2020, like March of 2020. I just do gaming content for PC, video games, consoles, stuff like that. Right now, I'm doing the AMD versus Nvidia war, so it's pretty fun. Yeah,
Oh, nice. And you mentioned you'd put some carnivore content up there and people were interested. So that's great too that
yeah.
you're
I usually get on there and do like my like today. I'll do a video like my 110-day update. You know, just I don't do it every day because it's a gaming channel and I don't want everybody to like, yeah, man, it's a gaming channel. You know what I mean? Because it's vicious on here on YouTube, man. If you don't put the content out that they want, they it's like they start turning on you, man. I'm like, come on, guys. There's enough negativity out there in the world. We don't need any more. Yeah, it's pretty good. I do that. I do those, and then every once in a while, I'll like review like some other product that my wife wants or we buy. We just got that cat litter robot a month ago, and that thing has just been amazing. It's incredible. $800 though for a freaking litter robot. Those things are insane. The price
a
on them.
cat litter robot.
It's like
How
this.
how does that work?
So you know how your dryer works, right? It's like front loaded or whatever, and it spins around. Well, it's kind of like that. It spins on an axis to where when the cat gets in there, it's got like this rounded thing, and you put your litter in there, and then there's like a little grate, and then it rotates around, and all of the litter will go under this little thing that holds it in place, and then it'll get to an opening, and where the droppings and everything that are too big to get through the grate just fall into the little bucket underneath it, and it rotates, does a whole fresh cycle. It's pretty cool. It is pretty cool, man. It saved my wife a lot of time. She loves that thing now because she'd have to sit in there and scoop the kitty litter boxes all the time, and now it just does it. You just take the little bag out and throw it in the garbage. It is a very cool thing, but yeah, they're expensive. They need a little bit
Awesome.
cheaper
Yeah.
ones.
$800. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, Andrew, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us. I really appreciate it.
yeah. It was nice being on, Dave. Appreciate it.